Am I the asshole for getting my coworker fired after she took credit for a project I spent 6 months building? Hi, Reddit. This happened over the last few months and exploded recently. I'm still reeling from everything, and people at work are taking sides, so I figured I'd post here and see what strangers think. I, 29 work as a data analyst at a mid-sized tech company. I'm not going to give the name, but it's one of those SaaS startups that's grown fast and gotten a ton of funding. Fast-paced, long hours, and a lot of egos. I'm not really the ego type. I do my work, keep my head down, and try to be the guy people can rely on. I've been with the company for 4 years now, and during that time, I've moved up slowly, from junior analyst to lead on a few projects. I'm not a manager, but people often come to me for help or to double-check their models. Earlier this year, our department was tasked with designing a new internal analytics tool to help the sales and marketing teams track customer churn, conversion metrics, and user engagement. It's not flashy, but it's essential. And it was going to replace a Frankenstein mess of spreadsheets and outdated dashboards. My boss asked me to spearhead it. It wasn't an official promotion, but it was my project. I spent 6 months designing it, iterating it, testing it, and building the documentation. Enter Samantha, 30F. She joined the team 4 months ago from another company. She's smart, charismatic, and very, very ambitious. The kind of person who always volunteers to present for the team in meetings, even if she barely worked on the project. At first, I didn't mind. She seemed eager, and I figured she was just trying to get her footing. Well, things started getting weird about 2 months ago, so, like I said, things started getting weird with Samantha about 2 months ago. I noticed she was inserting herself into conversations with the VP of product. At first, it was small, joining update meetings, asking to shadow me on client presentations, offering to help with the UI mockups. I was honestly fine with it. I thought she just wanted to learn. But it became clear pretty fast that she wasn't just learning, she was positioning. One day I was in the break room, and I overheard her talking to someone from marketing. She said, "Yeah, we've been working on this analytics platform for a while now. I've had to redesign most of the back end from scratch, but it's getting there." She never touched the back end. At all. I was stunned. I didn't confront her. I figured maybe it was a slip or she meant something else. Then, she started changing things in the project files without asking. Nothing major at first, but she'd tweak formulas, rename visual elements, and then email the team about fixes she made. I had to backtrack her changes more than once because they broke key reports. I spoke to her privately and asked her to please run edits by me before pushing anything live. She nodded and said, "Of course. Sorry, I'm just used to being more independent." I documented everything. Weeks went by. She kept overstepping. I tried to address it again, calmly, professionally, and she brushed me off with, "Oh, I thought you said you were swamped. I was just trying to help." Then came demo day. Our team was scheduled to present the prototype to the entire C-suite. I was supposed to walk them through the functionality, explain how we translated the goals of marketing, sales, product into clean, trackable metrics, and answer questions about scalability. The morning of the presentation, my calendar mysteriously updated. The invite listed Samantha as the presenter. I thought it had to be a mistake. I messaged my boss. He said, "Samantha told me you agreed to let her lead this one. She said you were swamped with cleanup and prepping documentation. Is that not true?" I was floored. I said, "No, that's not true at all. This is my project." He said, "Let's talk after the meeting." And then I watched, in real time, as she presented my work to the exec team, with only the tiniest references to me as the person who helped build the base logic. She took full credit for the design, the implementation, the automations. She demoed my code. She showcased my templates. And she smiled through all of it like she'd spent the last 6 months doing this in her garage. After the call, the VP of sales congratulated her. They said they were so excited about Samantha's tool. My name was barely mentioned. I don't think I've ever felt that invisible. After the demo ended, I sat at my desk for a long time just staring. I don't remember the last time I felt that humiliated, that betrayed. This wasn't just about ego or a stolen PowerPoint. This was months of work. Entire weekends spent debugging scripts and refactoring code, long nights researching integrations, double-checking metrics with department heads. And now, the most high-profile piece of work I'd ever done at the company was being referred to as Samantha's tool. That same afternoon, my manager called me in for a one-on-one. He looked sheepish, honestly. He said, "So, I got the full picture." Apparently, after the demo, he'd reached out to a few other team members who confirmed that I'd led the project from the start. One of our junior devs even forwarded him screenshots of Jira tickets, all assigned to me, all created by me. I laid it out plainly, showed him documentation, Git commits, email threads. I explained how Samantha slowly inserted herself into the project and then manipulated the demo handoff. My boss wasn't exactly apologetic, but he did say, I should have double-checked before assuming. That's on me. Then he asked me what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to answer. Part of me wanted revenge. Part of me wanted to forget it ever happened and never speak to her again. What I didn't want was to go back to work on Monday and pretend everything was fine. I told him, I want credit. I want it on record that this is my work. He nodded and said, we'll figure it out. The company launched an internal inquiry, which basically meant my boss escalated it to HR and they started interviewing people quietly. I stayed out of it beyond submitting my materials. I was tired. I didn't want to watch people pick sides in the office like it was high school. Some people stayed neutral. A few whispered, you got screwed. One guy in DevOps high-fived me and said, you're the real MVP, man, we all knew. But others, especially the newer hires and the office social crew, started icing me out. Samantha? She played the victim. She cried during her HR interview, apparently, said she misunderstood the level of collaboration and that she never meant to take full credit. She even told someone I was trying to ruin her career because I don't like strong women. That part stung, because this had nothing to do with gender or competition. I liked strong women. My last 2 bosses were women. My mom is the strongest person I know. This was about trust and professional theft. Eventually, HR wrapped the investigation. They called me in and said, we've concluded that Samantha misrepresented her role in the project. We've updated the internal project record and will notify leadership that you were the primary developer. That was it. No apology from her, no team email, just a quiet correction behind closed doors. I asked if there would be disciplinary action. They said they couldn't discuss personnel decisions, but that appropriate steps would be taken. I left that meeting angry and exhausted. Not because I wanted her fired, I didn't, not really, but because it felt like she got away with it. Then, 3 days later, I found out she'd been let go. 3 days after the HR meeting, my boss pinged me. FYI, Samantha's last day is today. Don't worry about transition docs, nothing you need to handle. That was it. No announcement, no explanation. She was just gone. Some people were shocked, others acted like they saw it coming. The rumor mill kicked into overdrive. One guy from product messaged me, asking if she'd gotten caught stealing code. I didn't reply. I didn't gloat. I didn't post vague messages online or tell people she got what she deserved, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel relieved. It felt like justice, but it also felt dirty. That weekend, I went to dinner with a few coworkers, people I thought I was still close with, and the whole vibe was off. At one point, one of them, Chelsea, said, I mean, yeah, what she did wasn't cool, but firing her? That's pretty harsh. You could have just called her out privately. I nearly choked. I said, I did call her out. Twice. I talked to my manager. I showed documentation. She lied. She manipulated the narrative. Chelsea shrugged and said, I don't know. She was always really supportive of women in tech. This just feels like, I don't know, overkill. That was the moment I realized something awful. Some people didn't care about what actually happened. They just wanted to keep liking the person who made them feel good. I left early. Over the next few weeks, I threw myself into work. Our VP asked me to present my tool to a group of stakeholders, this time with proper credit. I was also looped into a few roadmap planning sessions, and I was told a promotion to lead analyst was on the table for next quarter. It should have felt great, but it didn't. I kept thinking about Samantha. She wasn't incompetent. She wasn't evil. She was ambitious, too ambitious, and she made some incredibly unethical decisions. But still, I couldn't stop wondering if I had somehow blown everything up when I could have just talked to her directly one more time. A few people treated me differently after her firing, not openly hostile, just cautious. Like I was the guy who gets people fired now, a canary in the coal mine, and I hated that. I didn't want to be feared. I wanted to be respected. Update 1. Samantha reached out. I got a message from her on LinkedIn. It said, I want to apologize. I let things get out of control. I was desperate to prove myself and made some really bad choices. I know I hurt you. You didn't deserve that. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just hoping you can know I'm trying to do better now. I stared at the message for 10 minutes. Then I wrote back, thank you. That means a lot. I hope you land somewhere that lets you start fresh. The right way. She replied with a thumbs up emoji. And that was that. After Samantha messaged me, something shifted. Not dramatically. I didn't suddenly feel healed or vindicated, but it was like a weight came off my shoulders. For months, I'd been carrying around this tightly coiled ball of resentment, anger, guilt, and confusion. That one message didn't erase the damage she did, but it gave me permission to stop obsessing over it. She admitted it. She knew she'd crossed the line. That was enough. In the weeks that followed, things at work settled. My promotion came through. Lead analyst. It came with a raise, a new desk by the windows, and a seat at the weekly planning meetings. But the social dynamics never went back to how they were. Some people, like Jake from Dev and Priya from the Customer Insights team, stuck with me. They'd seen the behind-the-scenes chaos and were firmly on my side. Others remained distant. I heard whispers once or twice about how he got someone fired, or it's dangerous to get on his bad side. That stung, but I reminded myself, I didn't ask for this to happen. I didn't scheme or plot or call for someone's head. I showed the truth. That was it. Still, I became more reserved, more cautious about who I trusted, who I let in. Maybe that's maturity. Or maybe it's just workplace trauma in a tailored button-up. 6 weeks after Samantha left, a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. The company? The one she had come from before joining us. Apparently, someone there had seen the demo she gave. Yeah, the one she presented as if she built it. And it raised questions because it looked suspiciously like a tool someone else at their company had pitched the year before. The recruiter asked if I could clarify the technical ownership of the project because they were trying to resolve a possible IP concern. It was surreal. I explained clearly and professionally that I was the sole creator of the project, backed it up with links and documentation, and thanked them for reaching out directly. They responded with a curt, "Thank you." That confirms what we needed. I never found out what happened after that, but part of me suspects Samantha burned more than one bridge. Final update, I'm in a much better place now. The promotion stuck. I'm currently mentoring 2 junior analysts. I've built another tool, this time with a full team, and it's been rolled out company-wide. I've spoken on 2 panels about ethical data reporting. I even had lunch with our CTO last week to discuss future innovation projects. But I'm still wary, still a little guarded. I've learned that even in places that feel collaborative and like family, there are people who will step on your neck if they think no one's looking. That doesn't mean you shouldn't trust anyone, but it does mean you should document everything and stand your ground. And if someone tries to erase you, make it impossible.